I spent 2 months secretly delivering food to buy my husband his dream gift. The last delivery was to his mistress's bedroom door. I was standing on a stranger's doorstep, holding $150 worth of prime ribeye and a bottle of Château Margaux, when the door swung open and my husband looked me dead in the eyes. He was wearing a bathrobe. There were 2 wine glasses in his hand. And somewhere behind him, a woman's voice called out, "Babe, is the food here?" I want to back up. Because the part that's going to wreck you isn't what happened at that door. It's what I was doing there in the first place, and why, for 2 whole months, I thought I was the luckiest woman alive for having a man worth sacrificing for. My name is Emma. I'm 31. I have a master's degree in communications, a mortgage I split with my husband Daniel, and until 48 hours ago, what I genuinely believed was a good marriage. Not a perfect marriage. A good one. The kind where you bicker about whose turn it is to empty the dishwasher and then laugh about it over takeout. The kind where he still reaches for your hand during movies. The kind that felt, after 5 years, like it had survived the hard part. Daniel works corporate. Senior account manager at a logistics firm downtown. Long hours, decent salary, dress shirts he irons himself because he says I never get the collar right. He's particular. Disciplined. The kind of man who writes things down in a physical planner and hits every deadline. I fell in love with his steadiness. The way he always had a plan. I should have paid more attention to that. Our 5th anniversary was coming up, 12 weeks away, and I had been obsessing, quietly and privately, over one specific gift. The Omega Seamaster. A watch Daniel had pointed to exactly once, 2 years ago, in the window of a jewelry boutique downtown. He didn't linger. Didn't say I want that. Just slowed down, looked at it for maybe 4 seconds, and kept walking. But I saw his face. That brief, unguarded flicker of want before he tucked it back away. $4,000. I didn't have $4,000 sitting around. Our savings were allocated, the emergency fund, the home repair account, the vacation fund we hadn't touched since the pandemic. I wasn't going to drain any of those. This was supposed to be a gift, not a withdrawal. So I made a plan. 8 weeks before our anniversary, I signed up for DoorDash. I told Daniel I'd joined a book club. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, 7 to 10. My friend Kara, bless her, agreed to be my cover without knowing the full reason. I said I needed some time to myself and didn't want Daniel to feel neglected by it. Kara said that's healthy, good for you, and I felt a small pinch of guilt for the lie, but I told myself it was a good lie. A loving lie. The kind you tell because the truth would ruin a surprise. Those first few weeks, I loved it. There's something quietly freeing about driving alone at night, radio low, city lights smearing past the windows. I'd pick up orders, Thai food, pizza, sushi, and drop them at apartment buildings and houses all over the city. I kept a little notepad in my cup holder where I tracked my earnings. $62 one Tuesday, $89 on a Thursday. I had a 5x7 photo of the Omega printed out and tucked in my sun visor. I looked at it at red lights. I was at $1,340 by the end of week 5. I remember texting Kara one night, "I think I'm actually going to pull this off." She sent back 3 heart emojis. I drove home singing. Daniel never suspected. He'd ask how book club was, and I'd give him something real. I'd started actually reading whatever book Kara's real club was covering, just enough to describe the discussion convincingly. He seemed to like that I had something of my own. "You seem lighter," he told me one Sunday morning over coffee. He was smiling. I kissed him on the cheek and told him the book was really good. 6 weeks in. A Thursday. He texted me at 6:45, "Going to be late tonight. Quarterly roll-up is a mess. Don't wait up." I sent back a heart. I was already in my car, DoorDash app open. He was working late more frequently by then. I'd noticed but hadn't flagged it. Quarterly reports were genuinely brutal at his firm, and he'd had stretches like this before. Besides, I was barely home myself on those nights. That should have been the thread I pulled. I didn't pull it. Last Tuesday started like every other DoorDash night. I logged on at 6:50, accepted a couple of standard orders, made my drops. Around 8:15, a new order loaded in. Hargrove Steakhouse. EST total, $148.90. My eyes went wide. That was a significant order, multiple entrees, sides, a bottle of wine. The app flagged it as a large order bonus. I accepted immediately, drove to the restaurant, and waited while they triple-bagged everything in insulated carriers. The hostess handed it off with both hands, like it was precious cargo. I looked at the delivery address. Linwood Terrace. The new luxury townhouse complex on the east side of the city. The ones with the private gated entries that had been in the local paper for their starting price of $1.2 million per unit. I remember thinking, must be nice. I drove the 20 minutes across town, buzzed the gate with the code in the app, wound through the complex to Unit 7. The pathway was lit with low landscaping lights. There were terracotta pots on either side of the door with small-shaped topiaries in them. Someone had spent money making this place feel curated. I rang the doorbell. I heard footsteps. The door opened, and the universe tilted 45 degrees. Daniel was standing there in a charcoal bathrobe I didn't recognize, holding 2 wine glasses by their stems. His hair was slightly damp. His expression when he saw me, I will spend the rest of my life trying to find the word for that expression. It wasn't guilt, exactly. It was something that happened before guilt. The look of a man whose 2 separate worlds have just made violent contact. Neither of us said anything for what felt like a full rotation of the earth. Then, from somewhere inside, from a couch, from a kitchen, I couldn't tell, a woman's voice floated out. "Babe, is the food here?" I watched Daniel's face collapse in slow motion. She appeared in the hallway behind him a moment later. Tall. Silk slip. Dark hair loose. The kind of effortless that takes a lot of effort. She was holding a phone, and when she saw me, she stopped. There was a beat where all 3 of us just existed in the same impossible moment. Here's what I did not do. I did not scream. I did not throw the bags. I did not cry, not right there, not in front of him, not with her watching in her silk slip with her wine-flushed cheeks. What I did was look at Daniel, really look at him, the way you look at something you're memorizing because you know you'll never see it the same way again, and I held out the insulated bags. He took them. Automatically. Like his hands didn't know what else to do. "Enjoy the steak," I said. My voice was level. "I don't know how. Happy early anniversary." I turned around. I walked back down that topiary-lined path. I got into my car. I sat there for exactly 1 minute, staring at the 5x7 photo of the Omega Seamaster tucked in my sun visor. Then I drove away. Now here's the part that might make you sit up straighter. I want you to understand the math of what happened next, because the math matters. I went home. I sat at the kitchen table. I opened my laptop. And I transferred every dollar from our joint checking account, $4,447, into my personal account. The one in my name only, the one I'd opened 6 months into our marriage because my mother told me every woman should have a financial floor that belongs entirely to her. I used to think she was being paranoid. Then I transferred the $1,340 I had saved from DoorDash into the same account. I packed a bag. Not frantically. Deliberately. I had a strange, almost clinical calm moving through me, the kind that comes after something so large your emotions can't process it in real time and they just go quiet while your hands keep working. I took my documents, my laptop, my grandmother's ring that lives in a velvet box in my nightstand, the framed photo of my parents from our wedding day. The things that were mine before he was part of my life and would be mine after. I called Kara from the driveway. "Emma?" She sounded half asleep. "I need your couch," I said. "I'll explain everything." "Come now," she said, without hesitation. "No questions. Just come now." That's a real friend. I drove to her place and I told her everything. The book club lie, the DoorDash nights, the Omega watch still sitting unwrapped in spirit, the doorstep, the bathrobe, the wine glasses, the woman in the silk slip asking if the food was here. Kara sat across from me at her kitchen table with both hands around her mug and didn't say a word until I was done. Then she said, "That man does not deserve a single one of the hours you spent in that car." I put my head down on the table and I cried for about 45 minutes. Daniel called 11 times between midnight and 2 a.m. I watched each call appear and disappear. He texted at 12:30, "Please let me explain." At 1:15, "Emma, I love you. Please." At 1:58, I ended it. "It's been over for weeks. I was going to tell you." I put my phone face down and went to sleep on Kara's couch. The next morning, I called a divorce attorney at 9 a.m. I had an appointment by 10:30. Here's what I know now, piecing together the details that have surfaced in the last 48 hours. The woman is a client. Was a client. They'd apparently been seeing each other for 4 months. The townhouse isn't hers, she's renting it furnished on a corporate lease. Daniel had told her he was separated. He told her he was separated. While I was driving across the city at night delivering people's food, saving money to buy his dream gift, coming home to kiss him on the cheek and tell him the book was really good. He had told another woman that our marriage was already over. What do you do with that? How do you even begin to metabolize the specific cruelty of that particular detail? I'll tell you what I'm doing with it. I'm using it. I'm letting it burn clean and useful, like fuel. Every time I feel myself wavering, every time I see his contact in my phone or remember Sunday mornings with coffee, I come back to that detail. He told her we were already done, while I was singing at red lights looking at a picture of his anniversary present. That's the thing about a lie that size. It doesn't leave room for nuance later. There's no version of let me explain that reaches across that distance. My attorney says the financial picture is straightforward. The joint account withdrawal is clean and legal. The house will need to be addressed, but I have strong standing. My DoorDash earnings, documented meticulously in my little notepad, are apparently useful in establishing independent financial activity. The attorney actually smiled when I showed her the notebook. You were building your exit before you knew you needed one, she said. I thought about that for a long time. Daniel has since sent 44 texts, 3 voice memos, and a handwritten letter via his mother, who had the grace to look deeply ashamed when she handed it to me at Kara's door. I returned the letter unopened. His mother squeezed my hands before she left. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The Omega watch. I've thought about this too. The $1,340 is mine. I earned it, hour by hour, in the dark, for someone who wasn't worth the first shift. I'm keeping the money. I might take a trip. Somewhere with good food and a view of water and absolutely no bathrobe-wearing liars with 2 wine glasses waiting behind a curated townhouse door. Or maybe I'll buy myself a watch. Not an Omega. Something I choose for myself, for no one else, for no other reason than that I want it. That feels right. So tell me, the man had a loving wife secretly working nights to surprise him with his dream gift, and he spent those same evenings playing house with someone else across town. Is there any version of this where he deserves even one more minute of the loyalty I showed him? Or did he hand me back exactly the life I was owed the moment he opened that door?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.